Hey everybody, Rockin Robbie Billups here for Pop Culture Philosophers, and it's time for the weekly comic book review. That's right, everybody. Weekly Comic Book Review is the show where I read a lot of comics and I'll let you know what I thought about them. And it was a fantastic week in comic books this week. If you're just out to fan nerd it up, it was a great week. And if you're just looking for deep and meaningful stuff, it was a really good week as well. Great week in comics this week. And as always, we start with the pick of the week. This week's pick of the week, could it be any other? Batman number 21 with the nifty, cool, lenticular cover. Yes, only for $3.99. $1 more, $3.99. Lenticular cover. Get it right now while you can, because you know how everybody is. They're gonna grab these up. It's gonna be worth money. Who cares? Who knows? You're gonna want to get this because it's super, super cool. It's the pick of the week because it's awesome. It's just super, super, super cool. I don't really want to spoil a lot in this, and there will be a video coming up very, very soon, very shortly, that's going to be more in-depth about this issue and why I loved it so much and what happens in here. Suffice it to say, this is a big deal. If you're a fan of DC Comics, you're going to want to read this. If you're a fan of Batman or The Flash, for sure you're going to want to read this. But if you have at all been following the Watchmen and the DC thing in the comic book since DC Rebirth last summer, this is the first direct, absolutely direct. You know, here on the weekly comic book review, we like to say maybe this is a reference to the Watchmen. Maybe this means something. We've been talking about the Superman and Mr. Oz stuff, but this is the first super direct reference to the Watchmen stuff since DC Rebirth, and this is awesome. It's amazing. It's a brilliantly paced issue. It's fantastic. It's awesome. It's got great characters, great artwork. Tom King, who's been doing a terrible job at Batman, in my opinion, rocks it out on this issue. Jason Fabok does the artwork. It's amazing. This book is so super cool. It's awesome. There's lots of symbolism in here. It's just great. It's just great. So I'm going to talk a lot more about this in an upcoming video coming out very, very soon. It's going to be spoilerific and all that stuff, but this book is so awesome. Get out there and get it while you can. It's awesome. Straight up. That's how cool it is. Superman 21 also came out. Do not let this be overshadowed by the start of the button. That's right, by the way, that was the start of the button. I didn't really talk about that. It's the start of the button. It's a Batman Flash crossover. It's going to be happening for the next 4 weeks. I'm so super, super excited. Anyway, don't let the button be overshadowing Superman number 21 this week. Big stuff is happening here as well, possibly Watchmen related. Superman has been fun. Peter Tomasi and Patrick Gleason have been doing a great job on this book. And number 21, for sure, continues this Black Dawn story. There was a story, it was like a little horror story about the swamp or the Forbidden Swamp or something. You know, it came out a little bit ago. We talked about it, and I was like, hopefully this will build up into something. It has. This is also a big deal. It's also a really fun comic book. Tomasi has got Superman, Batman, Damian, and Jonathan down. He knows how to write these characters. The artwork is awesome. It's just such good stuff. You got to be reading the Superman books, guys. If you're reading The Button, if you're interested in the Watchmen DC connection, you got to read the Superman books. Superman and Action Comics, but especially Superman. You got to read them. Trinity number 8. I fell off of this book. Francis Manapul is doing a Trinity book. I'm super excited. The story was blah. The artwork was cool until 2 issues after, 2 issues in, and all of a sudden I'm fill-in artist. Anyway, so I stopped reading it, but I read this one because it is a Superman Reborn tie-in. It's an Aftermath tie-in. And what's important about this issue, and if you haven't gone to the store yet, if you haven't picked it up, if you don't know if you want to spend the $3.99 on this comic, all it is Superman explaining to Wonder Woman and Batman what he has recently been going through with Mr. Oz, with Jonathan, with all the reality stuff, and Wonder Woman finally admits to them that her stuff has been messed with, and Batman's still holding the button secret, but for how much longer after what happens in this week's Batman number 21. But this issue was all right. It's cool to see that talked about, discussed, and there's some cool things in here that happen, but it's not really worth your time. Just know that now Batman and Wonder Woman know what's up, and the Trinity are going to kind of try to keep this to themselves for a bit and see what happens, but obviously not a lot's going to happen. Super Sons has been super, super fun. Issue 3 continues on. This book is just so fun. It's great. Peter Tomasi, who writes Superman, is writing this book. It is is illustrated by Jorge Jimenez. Very flamboyantly awesome and dynamic pencils and just artwork. It's just fantastic. It's great. It moves. It's great for the characters. It fits the tone of the book. The tone of the book is goofy and silly and fun, kind of like if you remember back in the day, Peter David wrote a comic book called Young Justice before the animated series. Young Justice with Impulse and Superboy and Robin, Slobo, Arrowette, Wonder Girl, all that stuff. Definitely, if you remember Peter David's Young Justice and like that, you're going to like Super Sons. It has that same kind of feel to it. It's a very fun book. It's great. And Peter Tomasi, like I said, he has these characters nailed down. Damian Wayne Robin and Jonathan Kent Superboy are just putty in the hands of Peter Tomasi when he crafts these stories. It's amazing. Great artwork. Super Sons has been super fun, like I've been saying. It's a great book. Batwoman #2 comes out as well this week, written by Marguerite Bennett and James Tynion IV, with pencils by Steve Epting. Still Epting's some of his best artwork, period, in his entire career, in my opinion, is in the pages of the Batwoman. It's okay. Nothing is super explosive or grabby about this book, but it is solid. It is good. Amazing artwork. It is well written. It's well crafted, but the story's just, especially surrounded by some of the other stuff going on at DC, it's not as explosive. It doesn't grab you as much. We're definitely going to have to judge this book in the long term. We're going to have to see what the first story arc does once it's completed, but I do like this book. The artwork is amazing. I think the writing is decent and good. It's just nothing has super grabbed me yet. I'll just say that. That's what I'll say. Green Lanterns #21. You guys know it's my guilty pleasure at DC right now. I love reading this book. I don't know why. It's not really that good, but I love it. I love the characters of Simon Baz and Jessica Cruz, and I'm thoroughly entertained every time I read Green Lanterns. This was no exceptions. It's the conclusion to the Polarity story with Polaris. It's great. I love that character, so it's cool to see him used. They get a little into his psyche and who he is and why he does what he does, and that's really nifty. What's really cool about this is the ending. Really intriguing. Got to see where that leads. Aquaman #21. This book was okay. It's been okay. It's been off and on. It's been very inconsistent, and I have said on this video many times, I've said in this series that Aquaman needs to be monthly, and it should just, maybe like stick with a good solid artist. Well, I think they've actually done that. Aquaman's going monthly, I think in like June or July. I think July. And what's his name from Witchblade? Steven Zvej. I can't think of it right now, but it's Steven something, and it's like it's some kind of name. But apparently they're going to be trying to refocus Aquaman this summer. I'm super excited for that because right now this is one of those down issues. It's okay. The Dead Water stuff is intriguing, but Scott Eaton on the artwork here, it just doesn't work. It's such an inconsistent book. It's hard to get a direction in this book because of its inconsistency, not just in the artwork, but in the writing. And that's why I think Dan Abnett, the writer, will do a whole lot better with just a monthly Aquaman book, and that's what we're going to get, and that's very, very exciting. Timeless is nearing its conclusion here in Justice League #19. Justice League's not my favorite book, but I'm reading it because this does kind of represent something. Tempest, the big bad in here, says he's trying to do what he's trying to do because he's trying to save, he's trying to pull the Earth out to save the universe, if not the multiverse, from some kind of crazy big bad that's out there coming. Okay, so now that the button's out, Superman Reborn's happened, like those little kind of references are neat and cool, but it's starting to speed along, and that's really, really cool. So that's some of the DC stuff I read this week. Also from DC, but not quite DC, is Wildstorm #3. Seriously, guys, almost made the pick of the week, but the button was just so amazing. Wildstorm #3 is great. It is amazing. It is a brilliant comic book. This is so good. Grifter does some griftering in this book. Jenny Sparks makes her new debut in this, and it's all so intriguing, so awesome. I love this book. Wildstorm, for 3 issues, has gotten better and better and better. This world that Warren Ellis is building, it's amazing. The artwork by John Davis Hunt, that's right, John Davis Hunt, is so good. Any little bits in issues 1 and 2 that you could pick at, ironed out by issue 3. This stuff is solid. It's great. And one of the reasons now I realize why Warren Ellis chose to work with this guy, he knows how to do these action scenes perfectly. Warren Ellis can craft these concisely engineered action scenes, and Davis Hunt just does such a great job bringing them into reality. Wildstorm is a fantastic book. Seriously. You don't need to know anything about prior Wildstorm books or anything at all. It's a fresh start, whole new ball game. Check it out. Cave Carson has a Cybernetic Eye #7. This book is, I'll be honest with you, I loved it a lot at first. I thought it was really cool, a lot of fun. I'm starting to lose a little bit of it. It's just, I think I need to go back and reread all the issues. I think that's what I need to do, but this issue is really cool for one reason and one reason only, if not anything else. Michael Avon Oeming's artwork, finally he gets to do a Superman story, and it's awesome. It's everything you ever thought it would be. If you're an Oeming fan, you ever thought maybe he should do a Superman comic book? Here you go, check it out. Let's go to Marvel. Marvel has a big release as well. We got the Button from DC, but Marvel, don't sleep on Marvel, because we got Secret Empire #0. Secret Empire #0. Is it good? Yes, it actually is, guys. It's actually really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I have not been reading Nick Spencer's Captain America work. I have been rereading the Captain America stuff. I started rereading at the Rick Remender run not too long ago, like maybe 2 months ago. I read the Remender run that led to Sam taking over his Cap, and I've read the Nick Spencer stuff. I've pretty much read both Steve Rogers Cap and Sam Wilson Cap up until about 8 months ago. So a lot of what's happening in this book has been built up in those comic books, and especially in the last few months, apparently. There's a lot of stuff going on. Apparently a lot of stuff from Thunderbolt as well, and some other titles, Uncanny Avengers, US Avengers, books I don't read, but I don't read them, and I still was able to follow this book just fine. So you don't have to read any of the other tie-ins. I've heard that it really helps you out. If you do, the other tie-ins that came out this week, like Steve Rogers, Captain America, Thunderbolts, US Avengers for sure, those ones you should read all before you read this one, I hear. But this was really good. It was really fun. Nick Spencer's really, I love what he's doing with Captain America. I don't like that I'm not quite caught up yet to this point and having read this issue, but it is super cool. I mean, Captain America wins, guys, and it's crazy. This whole Captain America's Hydra stuff, at first a lot of us had a knee-jerk reaction saying, this sucks, this is so stupid. I had the same reaction because it happened at the same time as DC Rebirth. It felt like they were trying to steal the scene from DC by leaking the, I don't know, it just didn't feel right at the time, but I'm going to tell you guys, the Sam Wilson Cap stuff and Steve Rogers Cap stuff has been really, really good. A really good commentary on what may be going on in America right now, or where we could be going to. If things went crazy out of hand, I don't know. A lot of people say we live in a world of two Americas, and we definitely live in a world of two Captain Americas, and I just really like this stuff. I think Secret Empire is really, really cool. It's big. It's big. You feel the weight of this story, and that's something that Marvel comic events really lack. I know a lot of you guys out there are so tired of Marvel's events, and DC has done it right with the Button, and you're nervous about Secret Empire. At least with issue 0, definitely check it out. You're going to pick up the free comic book day one anyway. Might as well check it out. It's $4.99, but it's dense. There's a lot of stuff in there. It will take you a while to read it, to digest it, to absorb it. It's actually really good, guys. It's got my seal of approval. There's some heartbreaking moments in here. There really are. So if this book can continue on with that weight, it's got my seal of approval, absolutely. Another great new release from Marvel this week is Nick Fury #1. Nick Fury #1 is actually so super, super cool. If you are a fan at all of the Jim Steranko Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff, if you're a fan of that stuff from the 60s, which is amazing stuff, if you've never read it, you really, really should. Jim Steranko is amazing, and he brought so much pop art and psychedelic art into that book, and it's brilliant. And this book is a big throwback to that, just to show you maybe what I'm talking about. Look at that. Look at that. That's kind of cool. But if we go one more page, what is going on? Aiko is the artist on this. Fantastic artwork. A decent story by James Robinson. There's nothing that's going to blow you away about the story, but the artwork and the presentation, how this comic book is executed, will totally blow you away, and it will bring you back to those Steranko days of S.H.I.E.L.D. Really cool, fun stuff. I like it. It's a fun, cool spy book starring Nick Fury Jr. now, the son of Nick Fury, who's more like the Samuel L. Jackson Nick Fury that we know from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But this is fun. It's really good. I love issue 1. It's got my seal of approval. Definitely check it out, guys. Monsters Unleashed unleashes its first issue of its ongoing series. I thought that the miniseries was really fun. I thought it felt like a lot of the ancient Marvel event crossovers of old, the ones back in the 80s, way back in the 80s, right? Way back then. In the 80s and maybe the early 90s, way back in the day, man. The dark ages of comics, right? Anyway, just kidding, guys. But it felt like that. It was really, really fun. But issue 1 of this fell flat. It felt dumb. It felt doofy. Seriously, Monsters Unleashed was fun. It's a big Marvel event. You got to see where Marvel was at the moment. If I was a kid, I would love that book. But this book, I don't know. It just fell flat. I didn't really like it that much at all. Venom number 6. I read Venom number 1. I did not like it. I stopped reading it. Picked up issue number 6 because we all know, it's no secret, Eddie Brock is back. I wanted to see how that goes on. I hate the artwork in here. I hate the writing. But I love the ending of this book, and I'm loving that Eddie Brock is back as Venom. We shall see what happens, though. Because I don't want Eddie Brock back just as the want to eat your brains Venom. I don't want that. I want Lethal Protector Venom. That's what I want, minus the mullet. Well, if you want to bring back the mullet, I'm cool with that as well. Royals number 2 came out. It's an Inhumans book that actually feels like an Inhumans book. I loved issue 1, did not like issue 2. Didn't like issue 2. I thought the story by Al Ewing was eh. And John Boy Myers has a fill-in artist already. He's got a fill-in artist. It's very inconsistent because there's 2 or 3 different artists. I think there's 2 different artists, right? Yeah, it's Myers and Silas, right? Where's it at? Yeah, you got Tony Silas and John Boy Myers doing the artwork. It's inconsistent. The artwork feels rushed. It feels forced. I didn't like issue 2. I loved issue 1. I did not like issue 2. So hopefully issue 3 is going to be really, really good. Moon Knight number 13. Jeff Lemire is nearing the end of his run on Moon Knight, and that's sad to see. It's sad to see Lemire go, but it's going to be really exciting to see the ending, the finale of Lemire's run. And I think next issue is the finale, possibly. I don't know. I maybe 1, 2 more. I don't know. But we are right there at the end. It's a good, fun, solid issue. Greg Smallwood, fantastic artist. Moon Knight has been so solid since Warren Ellis, rebooted the character, except for that little run with Cullen Bunn. That was a little shaky. But the Jeff Lemire stuff's been really fun. I'm really excited to read Ellis, Brian Wood's run, and Jeff Lemire's run all in one week in one day. That's going to be super fun. Maybe I'll watch it and do a video. Have you been reading Moon Knight? Because if not, links down below. Check out Moon Knight. Moon Knight's great. It starts with the Warren Ellis story, then it goes to Brian Wood, and then skip the Cullen Bunn stuff, goes straight to Jeff Lemire. Lunatic is volume 1. Links down below. Help support PCP. Get some good comic books. Amazon, great price. Seriously, good stuff. Invincible Iron Man number 6. This book has been fun. It's been pretty cool. It's actually been really cool. I was kind of disappointed by this book because of what Ironheart and maybe Iron Man are in Secret Empire. It's a little unclear. There's an AI Tony running around. I don't know. I thought maybe this would shed some light on that, but it didn't. So, whatever. One cool thing about the Royals, by the way, is this ties directly into what's happening in Secret Empire. So that's really, really cool. It doesn't even say Secret Empire tie-in or nothing, but this leads a little bit into Secret Empire. So that's really neat. There's just a little thing, just a tiny little thing. It's really cool. But this book is cool. Brian Michael Bendis is actually doing a good job with Riri Williams, but I want something more to happen now. Like, we just need, I don't know, we need something to meet. There was a lot of explosive comic books out this week, so like something like Iron Man, it just felt okay. It was all right. It's really cool. It's just, this is one of those issues where it's like, we got to get this taken care of. We got to get this done. So let's do it. That's what that was. Star-Lord number 6. Let's talk about this. This is the final issue of Star-Lord. And there's an annual coming out next month or something. But Chip Zdarsky's been writing this. Chris Anka has been drawing it. 6 issues of a Star-Lord story where Star-Lord is on Earth, and I have loved it. I've loved it. I'm actually glad that it's over because I don't want to keep reading a Star-Lord book because as much as I love Peter Quill in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, as much as I love Chris Pratt, like for real, Parks and Rec all the way, like absolutely. The character in the comic books kind of gets on my nerves. The Guardians kind of in the comics, they kind of get on my nerves, but I've just loved this book. I thought it was so good. It's part of the whole grounded, little tag for the Guardians of the Galaxy. Their spaceship blew up or something, and so they've been stuck on the Earth. And just a really good story. Like, Grounded is a legitimate title for this Star-Lord story. It's so good, and it's so grounded. It's really, really good, guys. Check it out. Really, really good stuff. From Image Comics, we got Redneck number 1. God Country has taken the world by storm. It's an amazing book. Same author. Donny Cates, right? Donny Cates? Yes, Donny Cates wrote this book, Redneck. It's about redneck vampires. It's a typical redneck type story. It's a typical cliche redneck story. They just happen to be vampires. Redneck. Get it? Ah, that's clever. That's as far as it goes for me in this. It didn't really, I don't know, nothing hooked me, nothing caught me. There was nothing original in here. It was something I've seen before, but just with vampires. And I don't know, 15 years ago, that would have totally worked on Robbie Billups, but not the Robbie Billups of today. So, I don't know. I wasn't impressed with this book. That's just absolutely not. I was more impressed with this book, Plastic Number 1. It's a very odd story. This is from Image Comics as well. It's basically about this super badass secret agent guy that's like can totally take you out, who is kind of a little off his rocker maybe, and travels around with his sex toy plastic blow up doll. Like, what? And don't make fun of him, because like I said, he's badass and he can kill you with just a thought. So the book was actually really cool, and when I heard what this book was about, I was really nervous about it, but it actually presented itself really well. It was really cool. It was not sleazy really in any kind of way. It was actually pretty neat. It's from the guys at, is it 12 Gauge? Yes, the guys at 12 Gauge Comics, that's right. Brian Stelfreeze, Kevin Gardner, those guys. So I thought this book was actually pretty cool. I might check out issue 2. So I was really worried about the content. I thought it would go over the top, but it didn't. And I like that about this book. It was really interesting, and seriously, like, it's going to be one of the most unique comics you read this week. Absolutely. God Country number 4. You know, I feel bad for not saying good things about Redneck number 1, but I actually don't feel bad, because I have great things to say about God Country number 4. God Country is a great book. It's one of Image's best books right now. It's becoming one of my favorite comic books right now. God Country 1, 2, 3 have just sold out all over the place. New printings this week. It's like 4th printing of number 1, 3rd printing of number 2, and a 2nd printing of number 3. And number 4 is out this week. Seriously, guys, if you haven't jumped on board yet, read God Country. It is so good. This is going to easily be made into a movie or TV show one day, and it's going to be awesome. So you want to jump in right now. Like, issue 1 right now is like 50 to 80 bucks last I checked. That's insane, guys. God Country, though, is such a great book, and it's the word of mouth. It's the hype behind the coolness of the story, the originality of the story, the depth and meat of the story. This book has got it all, and it's great. Check out God Country. Also, Royal City. Royal City number 2. The week that Royal City number 1 came out, everybody was talking about it. Nobody's really talking about it this week because of stuff like The Button and Secret Empire, and even God Country and Redneck coming out. Royal City is a great book. Jeff Lemire getting back to personal storytelling. Issue 1 was great. Issue 2 is even better. This book is so good. And on another week, any other week, could have been a pick of the week. Absolutely. A lot of books this week. Wildstorm number 3, Royal City number 2. A lot of book. God Country number 4 that could have been pick of the weeks on any of those weeks where not a lot of good stuff comes out. There's so much good stuff this week. Seriously, Royal City is great. It's a really cool personal story from Jeff Lemire, and I just love it. And Jeff Lemire's doing the artwork, and like we said, always lots of cool, fun stuff when Jeff Lemire's doing the artwork. Awesome stuff. Just seriously, guys, this is real. This is real. So check that out. Injection from Warren Ellis. What issue is this? Number 12, Injection is a treat. At this point, though, I am following along still. I love each issue, but I do need to go back and reread all of these right now, immediately, before I start going, what's going on? Because I am near that point on this book, because they had a long break between Arc 2 and Arc 3. This book is great, super fun. Declan Shavely on the artwork, amazing. Can't say anything more about this book, aside from I just keep going. This book is awesome. That book is super awesome. So is Descender. Descender is now on issue 21. It's the last part of the Orbital Mechanics story arc. We are now hitting a huge story. It's about to start in June in this book. Everything's been building up to what's about to happen, and this book is a super penultimate issue leading into the next huge arc, which is what? The Rise of the Machines or something like that? Rise of the Robots. It's coming. It's coming. Read Descender. If you haven't been reading Descender, it's great. It's from Jeff Lemire, Dustin Nguyen doing the artwork. Amazing watercolored artwork. Really cool, beautiful stuff. A great sci-fi story. Probably the best science fiction story being told in comics right now. I may be that bold. It just might be. It's great. It's definitely the best space operatic science fiction story being told in comics right now. And I know that Saga is a thing that exists. So there you go. I'm going to say it right there. Anyway, great week in comics. Do not let the Button and Secret Empire overshadow things like Royal City and God Country or Injection. Plastic was interesting. Redneck was all right. Star-Lord, man, thanks for the memories. Royals was kind of weak this week. Thank God Eddie Brock is back. But can this book get any better? Please. Nick Fury. If you're going to pass on Secret Empire, definitely at least pick up Nick Fury. It's great. Wildstorm, do not forget this book this week. It's great. Super Sons is super fun. Trinity, skip it. Don't sleep on Superman, but The Button. We know that's where it's at. Look at that cover. Super, super awesome. Let me know what you read down below. Tell me what you thought about it. And like I said, we got this a more button-specific video coming out soon. We're going to get into spoilers and all that stuff, so be on the lookout for that. But let me know what you thought about the comics without spoiling anything for anybody. Let me know what you thought down below. Love talking to you guys about comic books. Thank you for watching the video. Please do like, share, and subscribe. We do this every single week. We also got movie reviews, toy reviews, TV show stuff, podcasts, all that and more can be found at popculturephilosophers.com. I'm Rockin Robbie Billups. Thank you so much for watching and joining the army. Thanks for rocking with us. Catch you next time. Keep reading.